What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome to your July 8th daily creative reading. We are going to dive right in. Happy Friday. So, Spirit, I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. All right, so let's dive in here. Postcards from Spirit. What have you got to tell us today? What do you got for us? Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives for July 8th? I will pull two as I've been doing all week. Hope floats. That's cute. Okay. Clearing my throat like I'm like him. Okay. So the back says, celebrate life. Heck yeah. Celebrate life. Okay. Dearest, wonderful you, to help you manifest a life for the highest good, we invite you to examine your deepest desires. Imagine all your desires, no matter what kind, like magic seed pods in a basket, glowing with infinite potential. Look closely at each one. Are you afraid that some may bring too much attention and invite negative reactions from others? Is change too daunting? Are you afraid to stretch and grow? Let yourself be led forward and let the seeds of positive intention take to the wind. Your desires count and you are worthy of them. They are essential for co-creating your world. Did you ever consider that when a desire comes from deep within you, it might be spirit moving you to create something beautiful to share with others? Some desires are infused with miraculous powers to move the heart and influence the world in ways you cannot possibly know. We know you and love you so deeply and are so happy to support you. Wow. Definite change, shift. Like we've had a lot of different heart energy, and maybe this is about letting yourself love things, entertaining the possibility of something being absolutely amazing is what we're looking at here. Quite possibly. The Chariot. Spirit, what messages do you have for my creative collective, please? Both of them? Okay. So the Two of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Ah, yes. This I'm seeing I saw like something being uprooted, like something being pulled up, like roots being pulled up. As though like the last of things, like I'm getting that uprooted with this like forward movement, this heart-centered energy. The Chariot showed up, I think, at the beginning of this week, and it's like this heart-centered energy that's showing up, the last of things being like pulled up, paradigms being taken apart, your view of things. Two of Swords, your view of things, having all the information that you need to make decisions, but decisions that are you're seeing with greater clarity yourself, your patterns, what's been holding you back a little bit or keeping you stuck. But I feel like there's this way that you're doing that in purview of the heart. You're not denying something about what's going on there now. Could be related to relationship. If this is not, and this is about work or projects, this could also just be seeing that, like when you're working on something and you're like, you feel like you're banging your head against the wall because you're like, this is ridiculous. Like you're trying to get forward on something, and sometimes all it takes is going for a walk. Like sometimes all it takes is like just being willing to see something differently. All it takes is this willingness to shift your perspective, and it all comes together. And sometimes it's like taking a shower, or you are, going for a walk. You are sitting in a hammock. You are sitting outside with a book and you're just watching the birds. You're going on a hike. Something that seems completely counterintuitive to what's shifting for you. Completely counterintuitive, but it unlocks much. Spirit, what messages do you have for my creative collective, please? Six of Wands, Seven of Cups, Seven of Wands. Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, Eight of Wands. Wow. The Star. Dang. Two of Cups on the bottom. Look at that. I'm going to put that out right here. Yeah, I feel like there's like this process that's happening within you, this change. There's like 888 right after each other. Boom, boom, boom. Um, there's the shift. It's like this is like the last piece of the shift, the last part of it, where you're reflecting in this Queen of Swords. This could have been a big decision or a little decision, but this is like a reflection point where you take a look and you step back and you're like, wow, not just look at how far I've come, but like this is all that's left. It's like when my friend, my friend moved out of her apartment, and it was one that she had in Toronto, and yeah, it was in Toronto, and it was like downtown Toronto, and we were moving everything out, and I remember standing in there like after all of the times that we had hanging out in that apartment. It was this bachelor apartment. It was very small, and she was kind of upgrading from there, and it was just this like seeing it. And I remembered we both cried. She cried more, but it was just because like it's my best friend, right? Like how much time did I spend there? And so much of the growth that she went through in her late 20s into her early 30s happened in that apartment. Even now we talk about it a lot, right? Like it's just so much growing happened there. And it was just it's that moment where it's like you're moving from one place to another, and you're having that last reflective moment with this Queen of Swords here, the Two of Swords and the Chariot before you move forward. You're just reflecting on everything. The truck is packed. Everything is good to go. You have the new thing in place to move to, and you're just like, wow, did all of this even just happen? Right? And like more so apparent with the story of my friend's old apartment, because they tore the building down to make condos, as they do in Toronto, right? A patch of grass, build a condo on it, right? Like, so, but it's like something was completely torn down. And I think that that's what this is. It's like the story of like addressing the tower before the tower falls. And I think that you did that, and then it's like this is just you looking back a little bit, right? Like the thing that could become a tower if it's unaddressed in this context, in this reading, is the Six of Wands, which tells me that there's a way that you may be too concerned with what other people think. This could be I don't want to say too ambitious, but ambitious for recognition reasons, or like it will satisfy some need that you have that's disconnected from your true self, your authentic self. So it could be some of that going on, which we all have aspects of that active in us. It's not new or different or anything like that. The Seven of Cups is the protagonist position, which is like, look at all of the good, right? This can be a card of indecision and some stuck energy, yes, like not knowing which road to take, but just standing in that for a minute in the Queen of Swords, and understanding that where you felt like you might have had no choice or option, there were so many, like there were more than you realized. And it's just maybe going easy on yourself as well, because again, the tower and like what other people might think. The antagonist position showing up here is the Seven of Wands, so it might be being too defensive. Maybe it's defensiveness, but in a way that is like defensiveness from having to be in this kind of position of having to hold the light for yourself for so long, in this effort-filled way, as opposed to the light just being able to shine by virtue of it being the light. So that could be some energy to just be careful of, because this is stuck energy as much as this can be too. So I think that I added the protagonist and antagonist position because I wanted this to mirror a hero's journey. But it's like, as is true with stories and storytelling, which, books and I, best friends, BFFs. But I feel like this is really about that last reflection. And the Eight of Pentacles is the challenge to overcome. And it's almost like putting too much work into this, because you've already decided. And the Eight of Cups is showing up in this overcoming, which is, I think it was in yesterday's reading, possibly the day before too. But in a different, I don't even know. It's been showing up this week. So it's like you've already made the decision to go towards something. So it's just remembering that you don't need to like, this is already done. Like this way of being, this way of doing things, this way of caring, this way of loving, this way of being in relationships, of investing in people, investing in relationships. Like it's already done. You've already taken that step. You've already done the thing, and it's okay to let yourself move forward joyously. You don't, like, moving forward doesn't have to be hard. Maybe that's this last carryover belief. Like, the final release doesn't need to take everything out of you. the final release doesn't need to. It's a spiritual transformation too. We have the 7 in the Chariot, then we have the 7 of Cups and 7 of Wands. 777. That's like spiritual wisdom in like distilled. Like there's many different associations with that. So do look it up. But because 777 is here. But I feel like there's some way that it's like things are moving quickly, but maybe, it's almost like you're understanding how momentum works. You're understanding how energy and energetic momentum works. You're understanding how that flow looks and feels. And the star is here, this like profound healing. And I'm not shocked to see the 2 of Cups here at all. 2 of Cups, again. Relationships, connections, love, again. Friendships, again. Contracts, soulmate connections, again. I say that not frustratedly. I'm just like, it's been very loud this week. And I think it's loud because this is, I'm in Canada, so we've been out of the pandemic for a while, but there are ways that we have still been in it. Like a lot of the final restrictions have finally lifted. So it's like connections are on people's minds. Like, how do I human 1111 in the presence of other people again? Like, how do I do this? That's like a fundamental question we've all been asking ourselves. And I feel like a little bit, I think that though, this is really just like reflecting on the ways that you've been in relationships, the ways that you've prioritized yourself and what's important to you, what you value, your passion, your emotions in relationships. These are like, it's almost like these are the things that you were needing to re-articulate or recalibrate your understanding of in relationship, in connections at work. What your passion was about, where your passion lay, how you invested yourself and how you did the work, how you did work. How you put time in, how you invested your energy in something. And that informed so much of the heart space. And I feel like this is really telling the story of that change, the 888, the shift, right? 888, we have 777, we have 888. And I feel like it's allowing you to open up. And it's like this hopeful energy that you can hold towards relationships and connections again. Like it's fantastic. This energy is beautiful. It's like that final reflection, right? Then we went to, I'll tell the story, bringing it full circle. We went to that apartment that my friend moved into, and it was like an upgrade. It had like, washing machine and dryer inside the apartment. Like it was beautiful. It was just this like little sort of granny flat over someone's garage, but it had like a kitchen. There was 1 bedroom, a bathroom, her other place had a bathroom, but like it had a lot of, it was really cute and cozy and it was wonderful. And it was a definite upgrade because it was also closer to her family. So it's like, it's almost like this upgrade energy, right? Like this upgrade, this level up energy, like you're finally allowing yourself to get into the 2 of Cups, to be in the 2 of Cups definitively without questioning it, without asking yourself, do I really? No, you do. You are in it. And I think it's just this last little bit of like reflection and just being like, oh, right? Like, oh, 6 of Cups wouldn't shock me if that came out. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? Whoa, that was supposed to be a shuffle, but alas, no. Okay, so we have the High Priestess. What else do we got, Spirit? High Priestess. 5 of Swords. King of Wands. Death. Yes. It's almost like, again, I get this reflection energy, right? Where you're like, this is, that's how I had to do things. Like, it's almost like a looking back, right? Like a looking back at, like, look at how you've grown. Look at how you've grown, darlings. Darlings. Yeah. Look at how you've grown. And I know that like, that's not the traditional interpretation of these cards, but it's just an intuitive hit that I got. So we have the Star, the 2 of Cups, the 8 of Wands. This is telling me that there's forward movement and momentum towards the 2 of Cups. Like, this is like you've left that apartment, you've closed the door, you're moving to the new place, and you're like, oh, I can unpack, right? That's that, and like that would be my job and my friend's mom. So we would go the next day and we would help her unpack everything. So she was just settled. But it's like that's sort of like that unpacking process that you're in right now. You're in this unpacking process, and it's a process that is like there's a reflectiveness, there's a reflection to it, but it's important not to lose yourself in that and to get too into your Neptune about it. And just seeing and understanding that your intuition will make apparent to you what needs to be apparent. You cannot miss it. So it's not something you have to like compete with yourself to achieve. Like you don't have to compete with your intuition on this, because it's like, let your passion dictate and lead right now. Let your authenticity lead. Let your creative powers lead. Let your creativity lead. Because there's this huge transformation that's taken place, and it's really important that you honor any need for rest, any need for relaxation and rejuvenation. Let yourself do fun stuff. If you've made big decisions this week, or you've come to big conclusions this week, don't forget to I think about the death card in terms of I'm having issues I'm having issues shuffling here. I think about the death card in terms of like a log in the woods, right? Decomposing. Just that smell of October is so good. And there's so much that it gives life to around it when it does decompose. And it's like, it is rejuvenative, it is life-giving, it is life-affirming, it's validating of life experience, all of it. It's this phenomenal energy to be in and to behold, right? So it's like allowing this space within yourself, allowing yourself to behold the space that death card makes. So then we have the Chariot, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. Spirit, what else do you have for me here in this energy? What else do you have for me here? We have the Star again. So I feel like things might feel like maybe they're moving a little bit quickly. Like you might feel like they're a little bit, I mean, we have the Eight of Pentacles and Eight of Cups, but I'm seeing the Eight of Wands as informing these, because I'm kind of seeing them as a triplicate here. So I think, and the Chariot is momentum. It's fast moving energy too. It's moving fast in its own way, but not quite like the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands can also represent communication too. So, but we have the Chariot, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. I feel like there's an investment that you made. It's like looking at how you were invested in whatever it was that you're in the energy of this week. And there's a healing energy to this here. There's healing it. There's a hope that you feel about it that maybe was like inaccessible to you. I don't want to say inaccessible. I just feel like you had so much going on that you were just like really in it. Like the Eight of Pentacles is like, how much can you really pay attention to? How much are you really available to if you're in that like motion, or like that motion, but like motion in place, right? Like nose to the grindstone, work energy. And it could just be working on yourself, like working through things that you needed to get through. It's like the unglamorous stuff, like packing, like that kind of thing, right? We also have the Eight of Cups and the Star. So the Eight of Cups and the Star. Spirit, what can you tell me to clarify this here? I do feel like it's healing. I'm hearing like healing expectations, but like from disappointments, from things that like you wanted to move on from before, but 1818 was just on the time. Healing from these maybe situations that let you down a little bit. We have the Ace of Swords and the Page of Cups. So that's the truth. And that's like, this is like finding new ways to offer yourself and your heart, your enthusiasm, your sincere enthusiasm and excitement for something. And then we have the Wheel and the Hermit. Wow. Okay. So that's like Virgo and Jupiter together. So there's like this wisdom, right? Like again, I go back to that analogy where it's like, you're looking at the place and you're like, wow, I grew so much here. And now I can expand into something so much more. And this could just be, again, a decision. This could be changing habits, and like thinking ahead to how you are going to perceive where you are now a year from now, because the year is going to come, right? This is what I said to myself of grad school when I had the opportunity. I was like, the next 2 years are going to go regardless of what I'm doing. So why wouldn't I go to grad school? Why wouldn't I do this? Because the next 2 years are going to pass regardless of what I'm doing about them. So why not do something with them? Why not do something that means something to me in them? Why not do this? So it's like that kind of energy where it's like you're thinking about how you will feel at the end of that and look back and be like, wow, I'm so glad I made that use of my time. I'm so glad I invested my energy there. I am so glad for this emotional energy that I directed towards this specific thing. What else do you have for me, Spirit? This Two of Swords and Six of Wands, please. Two of Swords, Six of Wands. So we have the Sun, again from yesterday, the Magician, the Tower, the Hierophant, and the Knight of Swords. That Knight of Swords came out a lot. It's really, like, I feel like this is, like, this decisive, like, carry on. Like, this is you going towards, this is, like, the I almost see this as, like, the gear that you're in, right? You're in, like, first gear, second gear. And I don't know why. Like, I'm having an epiphany about a dream that I had, so we're just going to park that there. Interesting. Okay. So, thank you, Spirit. Can you clear that? Thank you. It's not because it's bad. It was just getting in the way because I want to read this for you. So, the Two of Swords and the Six of Wands and the Sun. I feel like there's happiness beyond maybe what you thought. Like, this was the happiness beyond what you thought. And these and other aphorisms. Like, what? It's like there were things that you couldn't really see. And maybe that was the way that you were looking to other people to know what to do next or to know how to be next. But there's like a depth of happiness here that is like, it's more available to you. You have everything you need. Yes, right. You do have everything you need. And it's like understanding that you didn't need the feedback from people. You didn't need the feedback mechanisms that you relied on and created in your life to support yourself, in terms of emotionally, right? And I think when you realize this, you're like, wow, there's like a whole new way of, there's a whole wealth of spiritual information that becomes accessible to you otherwise. There's information that you have that you may not understand, but it's a new way of doing things and being. And it's like these spiritual practices, rituals, that kind of thing that you can put into place that supports you. Again, this tower, I think I mentioned it. It's like there was a tower that needed to fall and you did it. I feel like that's a big theme this week with the decisions. Yeah. But it's like making those choices consciously. And I think you have done that. You've made those choices consciously. This is Taurus energy, and Taurus rules the second house with Venus. And I feel like this is about understanding what it is that you invested in, that you loved, and why. And I feel like that's coming up a lot this week, a lot. But it's like, it's a reflection period on the one hand. But I feel like this is you reflecting on the moment that the tower fell, or the moment that you were like, I have to do this now. I talk about the song Beautiful You Are by Deborah Cox that came on the radio. And it's like, I knew at that moment, I was in a relationship that was not great. And this isn't to revisit that. This is not to go back to that energy, but to say that there's something to be said. There are some tower moments that you remember for the rest of your life. And there's certain moments where you're like, you just understand and you decide. I heard that song on the radio and I felt the angels around me. And I was like, I know I'm leaving this. I know I am leaving this. I am going to survive this and I am going to leave it. And I did, right? So it's like, it's those moments. It's like that moment where you made the decision, because it's like what it is that you're investing in affects you not only energetically, it affects you emotionally, it affects you financially, it affects you physically, it affects you in all of the ways that these tarot suits show up on the table. So it's like you have everything you need in more ways than you think, more ways than you might be aware of right now. And this is like forward momentum to the nth degree. There's so much that you can do. There's so much that is available to you. And it's like a breath of fresh air that you can't help but run towards. Like, this is quick, this is fast moving energy, but it's because you've decided something. You've already made the decision. This is you moving towards it. So it's almost like you're just reflecting on it on the ride, like through the ride. So we have the Queen of Swords and the Seven of Cups, and then we have the Two of Swords again. This is like, maybe you feel like you reflected because you needed just that little bit more information. Like, there might have been a way that you felt a little bit unsteady on your feet with where you're headed this week and energy that you're in. 2424 was just on the time, but you get that information and you're like, yeah, this is fine. I'm good. Like, you're like, okay, I got it. Right? Like, this is a turning within. It can be a stuck energy, but the way I read this is like, you're turning within to get information that isn't easily accessible on the outside, right? This is like a sort of meditative state where you're turning within to seek wisdom that you can't obtain from beliefs or traditional sources of knowledge or ways you used to acquire or have acquired knowledge. So you have to, it's within you. The high priestess moon is here, right? That's not by accident. I think that this is like the process of going within that informs a lot of the different, I almost see this as like ways that you invested your pentacle energy in emotions, like in cups. Like this is ways that you invested your pentacle energy in cups. Interesting. Spirit, what messages do you have for my creative collective, please? Messages for the collective for July 8th. King of Cups. Three of Pentacles. The Moon. Wow. King of Swords. Yeah, it's like that making the decisions about... I feel like you already know where you're headed next. You already feel like you have an idea. The moon is here, which tells me that there's a lot that's hidden from you right now. There's a substantial amount that's hidden. But it's like all you have to do is you're starting with the willingness, like this Three of Pentacles. You're starting with the willingness. And it's bookended by the King of Cups and the King of Swords. So I think this showed up in an earlier reading. But it's like all you need to know, you need to be willing and you need to know how you feel. And you need to have some kind of clarity about that. And you don't have to know all of the details. Like, don't try to know all of the details because it's going to leave you feeling a bit like this. This Two of Swords, like, I need to get more information before I make a decision. No. I feel like you have enough information because you know what makes your heart sing. You know what's doing that. And you don't need to have the world to make a decision. You just have to know why. This is like, why is it that you feel the way you do? You don't have to know all of the details of that, but it's like, if something excites you, if for example, if you're like, why do I do this? I love tarot. I love spiritual wisdom, spirituality. I've, been doing this for ever. Like, but it's like, it's just something that is so meaningful to me. So when I think about it, I'm like, oh, I get so excited. Why? Don't dive too deep into the why and like lose yourself. Like this is Aquarian energy as well. So like, don't lose yourself in that. Cause like, trust me, as an Aquarian with like an Aquarian, there's a stellium in Aquarius, I can tell you that we are very good at that. Excellent at acquiring information. But I feel like you don't need to know all of the details. You just need to know that one step at a time, and you need to be willing. Spirit's going to fill in the rest. That's where I feel like this has kind of become like a spirit is advocating on your behalf right now and showing you the light. It's showing you the direction, the sort of compass, right? The compass, the direction you need to take. The compass and the direction you need to take, right? Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. The Ten of Cups and the Chariot, the direction you need to take. It's showing you all of that right now. And I feel like the Chariot is here because you're taking it. And there's like new stuff coming. There's new coming. And I think that it's already here. I think that's the beautiful part of this. I think it's already here. But this is where it's like that reflection energy. Reflecting on the past, nostalgia, but not letting yourself get stuck in it, not getting stuck in that as like a way of being. This is more so, this is just more so looking at the energy of like the reflecting back on things and saying, wow, like, what a path, what a journey. And I'm so excited for more. This is almost like the pause and the appreciation as the new comes in. So if the new isn't here yet, if the new has not arrived yet, then I don't know that you need to worry overly. I feel like it's coming. This is just like giving you a chance to breathe before change arrives, before changes happen. I don't know about that, but Nine of Cups. Yeah. I feel like that did you wish upon a star at some point? Oh, the star too. I would say the star twice. Did you wish upon a star at some point? Because I feel like that's coming true. Something is coming true. It's already here. It's all here. And you've had all that you needed the whole time. But I think that you're understanding. I keep hearing willingness. In terms of signs, I'll just go over them because I realize I've kind of been doing that hit or miss, so I'm sorry about that. So we have the High Priestess, which is the moon, Death, which is Scorpio. We also have Star, which is Aquarian energy. That shows up twice. Then we have Cancer. We also have the Wheel, which is Jupiter, the Hermit, which is Virgo. We have the Sun, which is Leo, Magician, Mercury, so Jupiter, Gemini. We have the Tower, which is Pluto, Mars. I think of that as Scorpionic energy, to be honest, as well. So we have Taurus here too. We also have the moon. This is Piscean energy, and we have Chariot and Cancer. So we have Cancerian energy twice. Yeah. I feel like it's like letting spirit work a little magic. I think it's about like letting, how do I word this? It's like desire is infusing something here. There's so many cups that have shown up this week, and I think desire is infusing something for you, but you have to let it steep and to allow yourself to have some of that tea. You need to let yourself have it. And just to sit back. It's okay sometimes to spend a day reflecting. I get all like broody and moody and blah, blah, blah on rainy days and stuff. It's a good sensory day. Like it's a good day to just kind of sink into, I don't know, just to sink into reflection, and just, it feels like the world is taking a deep breath when it rains, right? It feels like the whole world is going like, oh, when it rains. And I love using that energy to go into places where, it wouldn't be that busy, and to really just use that time to reflect on new growth and to allow my soul and spirit to be nourished by spirit. So it's like that kind of thing that's happening here, where it's like recognition and moving forward. I do think that the Tower is something to be mindful of, not in a way that's like, beware the tower. It's not like that at all. This to me is about, there's something about happiness. There's something about happiness that maybe you didn't really, you were not very clear on, but there's something that you're very clear on now. Like we have the King of Swords and the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So like you're clear as shit, but there's still something that you wouldn't allow yourself to have access to. Definitely changing, but again, I don't know why the metaphor of my friend moving out of her apartment in Toronto is the so prominent or loud. I don't know why it's so loud. I think it's just like letting, like, how do I word this? I talked in one of the other readings, and I do believe this, about like rituals of letting go, right? The Death card, honoring that. Rituals of letting go. And I feel like this is kind of that ritual of letting go, right? Rituals of change, rituals of shifts, and allowing things to shift, but not doing it in a way like, I can't wait to get to the new thing. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Just for a minute, spend some time appreciating where you've been, and then turn your full attention, your full awareness, 3333 on the time, always lately. But then you can turn your full awareness and presence into the next thing, into the new thing. So it's just like taking that moment and giving yourself that pause today. I'm going to pull from the Life Loves You deck by Louise Hay and Robert Holden. Spirit, what messages do you have for my creative collective, please, for July 8th? I love life and life loves me. A little heart on the log. When you feel envy or lack, say to yourself, I love life and life loves me. Be in love with your life. Let life bless you today. I really like that energy. A lot. It's safe to ask for help. I think that came up at some point this week too. Yeah, this one was kind of trying to come out, so I'll read this as well. But So on this one here, I'll read the back. When you fear you can't do it all by yourself, maybe it's a sign you don't have to. When you stop trying to do it all by yourself, help appears. And this could be like guides, spiritual helpers, that kind of thing. And I am lovable came like shimmying down. I am lovable. The less I love myself, the harder it is for others to love me. The more I love myself, the easier it is for others to love me and for me to recognize how loved I am. Yeah. The better it gets, right? Spirit, can you give me some final messages here for my creative collective from this Miracles Now deck to close out this wonderful week on July 8th, this Friday. I release my need to be perfect and I center into my commitment to serve the world more love. That is excellent. That is excellent. I center into my commitment to serve the world more love. Oh, so good. Okay. And we're going to read this one here. So Hope Floats is on the back. Okay. Dear you. Oh my. Very George Takei. Oh my. Things are stirred up and changes upon you. This is cause for celebration. No need to be nervous, but know that it's okay to be afraid when faced with the uncertainties of life. The funny thing is that courage doesn't get mustered in the absence of fear, rather in spite of it or even because of it. Step into the unknown now, let go of the branch you're clinging to, and let Spirit take the wheel and help steer you to your highest good and most wonderful adventure. I love that. All you need to concern yourself with is choosing courage as your ally. Leave the rest up to us. There's a load of miracles being shipped your way. Remember what philosopher Joseph Campbell said? Take one step forward, the gods and they will take 10 toward you. I'm going to say that sentence again because it annoyed me the way I said it. Take one step toward the gods and they will take 10 toward you. Thank you. We're all doing the Destiny Cha-Cha on your behalf. That's right. Don't be afraid to dance. Loving you always. Isn't that just the soundtrack that bookends that whole metaphor of like moving from one apartment into it? You know what I mean? Like, oh, so good. So good. That was your reading for Friday. A little bit shorter than usual. Tried to keep it concise. But if this resonated, please like and subscribe. I'd love to have you on the channel. And if you're joining me from my subscriber base, thank you so freaking much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it. And you. So thank you. There are other ways you can connect with me on the channel. So do check those videos out. But if this is where we part, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, it finds you very, very well, my darlings. Take care and have a great weekend. Bye.